Coming off the bubble in 2020, you might not think that sports would have as big of stories to compare to, but 2021, the year in sports, was quite the wild ride. And of course, also coming back were COVID issues to wrap up the year. But looking back at the top stories here, with the help from Yahoo Sports writer Jay Busbee, who joins us now, we want to take a look back at some of the top moments in sports. And Jay, we'll cover the top 5 from your list on Yahoo Sports right now that everybody can go check out. But number 5 is out there for all the baseball fans who love not only big arms, but also big bats. And Shohei Ohtani brought both of those to the league this year.
This was a guy, thank you for having me on, by the way. This was a guy who did things that we have not seen in baseball since Babe Ruth. And that's not an overstatement. He was one of the best pitchers in the game, absolutely one of the best hitters in the game. He started the All-Star game. He hit in the home run derby, hit dozens of home runs in the home run derby. He did it all. And traditionally, baseball has been pitchers pitch, hitters hit. The thinking was that it was too difficult to try to do both. But Ohtani was a unicorn, basically. He came through and did them both so well that he was the American League MVP, and he made baseball just a heck of a lot of fun to watch again.
Hey, what's up? I wanted to ask about number 4 then in that case, shifting over to the NFL, I understand. What's the grand unveil on that one?
Yes, number 4 was not quite as endearing of a story. Deshaun Watson, one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL, he was heading into the 2021 season. Initially, the talk was going to be that he was going to be switching teams. He was with the Houston Texans. He was very dissatisfied with that team. He wanted to force a trade, and this was one of the best quarterbacks in the league. It was going to absolutely upend the league, even if that had happened. But then what happened was a number of sexual assault allegations came out, 22 in all in Watson. And over and over again, over the course of the spring and early summer, these allegations came out. He denied them. He fought against them. But because of the process of the legal system, they are not coming into depositions. They're not going to be heard publicly until February of next year, which forced the Houston Texans to either choose to trade him or to keep him on the bench. They took the latter option because teams were wary of taking on a player with these unproven allegations against him. So it really upended a number of teams in the NFL who were looking to potentially move around some pieces and get a Deshaun Watson on their team. But his absence was one of the most significant moments of the year because of that fact.
Yeah, and number 3 is a bit more of, I guess, emblematic of everybody's 2021, which was more to do with mental health and Simone Biles at the Olympics. And obviously, it was weird to see a lot of people maybe taking two sides of this one. But in the end, it's really a story of I think, everyone kind of looking out for themselves and an importance on mental health.
Absolutely. Mental health was one of the huge stories of the year. And even before Simone Biles withdrew from the Olympics, you had Naomi Osaka choosing to withdraw from some major tennis tournaments because of mental health pressures. And for all of the talk that this is a new sort of story, that this is a new trend among athletes to take mental health seriously, it's worth remembering that Michael Jordan retired from the NBA the first time because of mental health issues. He didn't call it that at the time, but he was overwhelmed by the pressure, which is exactly what Simone Biles said once the Olympics came around. She was set up to be one of the most decorated Olympians, one of the most decorated gymnasts of all time. And the pressure got to her, and she really can't be blamed for that, in the fact that she took herself seriously. She took her own mental health as seriously as her physical health. She started the team event in Tokyo. It was called the 2020 Olympics, but it was 2021, obviously. She started the team event, but then withdrew because she had a case of what she calls the twisties, which is a very serious issue for gymnasts, where they're not able to figure out where they are while they're in the air in relation to the ground. And as you can imagine, that's a pretty necessary element for gymnasts. She withdrew. She took a whole lot of heat from it for it, and she took a whole lot of praise for it. But it forced mental health into the national conversation in a way that nothing else could. She eventually did come back. She won a bronze medal. She was incredibly successful. But I think that the lasting legacy of what she did won't be the medals that she won, but the conversations that she started.
In such a critical conversation indeed. We're running a little bit out of time, but want to get to your number 2 and number 1, which I understand are golf and football respectively, right?
Yes, a couple familiar names, and we'll go through these fast. Tiger Woods, back in early February, coming off a very successful late career run, was in an accident that literally could have taken his life. The police officers on the scene were worried that he would lose his life or potentially lose his leg. As it turned out, he healed up well enough. He was able to come back and play golf in December. And then another familiar name, the number one sports story of the year. Who else could it be? Tom Brady. He switches teams, joins Tampa Bay. And this is a team that had not been to the playoffs in a decade and a half. All of a sudden, Tom Brady joins them. What happens? They don't just go to the playoffs, they win the Super Bowl. Tom Brady was already the greatest of all time, and he went and reaffirmed that, set the bar higher than anybody else is ever going to be able to catch.
All right, Jay Busbee, Yahoo sports writer, thanks so much for breaking all those stories down. We'll see what 2022 has to bring for us. Happy New Year.